What's a fun sport? Gone are the days of fun Beyblade battles and new gimmicks because now Beyblade is serious. Look, these guys even have bags under their eyes. They're so stressed out from life. Beyblade's grown up and it's now a sport. Not that you need to work out to Beyblade or anything, but regardless, these beys are now more like sports equipment. Kind of like a soccer ball, a bow, or baseball bat. Now, I'm not even joking about it. These burst, metal, and plastic Beyblades are like a relic. It's hard to find originals anywhere other than in Japan, for a decent price anyways. Now, it's even worse than that, because burst Beyblades are dead. The Beyblade Burst anime is done, and if you're just starting your Beyblade collection, good luck. Now, I've seen the prices online just going up, and with a quick look at some of the new videos on YouTube, you'll see why. Beyblade X is the newest version of a spin-top game dating back centuries, and Takara Tomy has evolved the gameplay by adding rules, rankings, and a special gimmick in their stadium, rather than in the spin-top layer this time, which now they're calling Gear Sports. But how do these changes classify Beyblade as a sport? Or do they? Since I got into collecting Beyblades, I've called it a sport, but obviously, calling something a sport doesn't mean that it is. We can all call an orange an apple, but it doesn't mean that they're the same thing. So what makes the new version of Beyblade a sport rather than a game? I mean, don't get me wrong, games can be sports, and sports matches are still called games. But not all games are sports. For example, Snakes and Ladders is no sport, even though there are set rules, opposing players, and a sense of competition. There's a clear lack of strategy and any kind of physical or mental strain, and this makes it just a simple game. In the Beyblade show or manga, blading is depicted as a sport already, with worldwide tournaments, TV broadcasts, and even schools having their own Beyblade teams. I guess what I'm trying to say, or imply, is that a sport may be considered as such when people who compete in it actually take it seriously. And even more so, when spectators and organizers take it seriously too. But there's more to it. In Malaysia and Indonesia, they hold competitions for spin-top battles, and it's considered a national sport called gassing, although I'm not sure if those people are considered athletes outside of their countries, or if they even get paid for competing at tournaments. Now, I've always considered Beyblade, or blading, to be a sort of target sport, like archery, golf, or bowling, where the bow or golf clubs are like the launcher, and the arrow or golf ball like the Beyblade itself. While hitting the target in archery or getting your ball in the hole in golf is the challenge, so too is getting a burst finish in Beyblade. Plus, there's more than one way to win, like ring outs or spin finishes. It does require a strategy and precision to launch, control, and maneuver the Beyblades in a specific manner. Now, does it require luck to win? Does it matter what parts you buy? Sure, but that makes it more similar to other sports. Beyblade also requires physical dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and strategic thinking to win matches consistently. So thinking back to Beyblade X, how has Takara Tomy taken it to the next level? How have they made it an actual sport? Well, in its May 17, 2023 media release statement, Takara Tomy made a few bold claims and also introduced their strategies for making this famous hobby and game into a sport for the masses. The first and clear strategy is them acknowledging Beyblade's older fan base, focusing more on competition, skills, and strength of experienced bladers by making the beys go faster and making them out of metal. I'm guessing mostly for nostalgia reasons. Now, I personally don't think that the addition of a new gear system, a metal layer, or any digital gameplay alone can make Beyblade a legitimate sport in most other people's eyes. In my opinion, if Takara Tomy started manufacturing big stadiums like the manga and the show with standardized, longer string launchers for older competitors, this will definitely give a more grown-up vibe and feel and look to matches and more so tournaments. As of now, the string launchers can only be up to 22 inches in length due to the fact that Beyblades have been primarily marketed to children. This is because basically, the more string in the launcher and the higher the gear ratios, the more power and speed the beys will have in battle. And this can become a hazard for younger kids, but at the same time, ideal for grown-ups to participate because of the inherent danger and challenge to control the bey at optimal speeds. Plus, if the bey stadiums become large enough, you'll need extra strength and extra string for the beys to clash with enough force in, a 1 to 2 minute battle that has substantially more action. The manga and the show, which is based off of it, has portrayed Beyblade as being a sport, but it hasn't accurately portrayed any dangers of such mechanics. I'm kind of talking like when Shukuranai got his scar, or when he overexerted himself through training, which I've made a video going into detail what that injury may have been, and the link is in the description. So let's face it, like hockey, football, or boxing, grown-ups in general like more violence in their sports or entertainment. The Beyblade X show, while going into detail about sponsors and duties as a representative, remains grounded in a kid's show narrative rather than engaging in a heavier plot. Now, there is a time when the main character decided to have a street battle. This episode was actually fun to watch, and if you haven't, I'm not going to spoil any of it, but in this episode, you can see the restrictions that a pro player must live by. And in my opinion, it actually made it look and feel all the real because of a corrupt individuals trying to abuse the system. At the same time, bribery, extortion, and cheating can become an issue, like in most sports, and can be yet another aspect this more grown-up version of Beyblade has now introduced in its storyline. We've also seen methods of enhancing a blader's power with the Requiem project and the arrangement system in previous generations, so we know it is a possibility to modify one's body. But what Beyblade X has so far shown us is how we can modify and actually perfect a Beyblade layer and its components. And who knows what the rest of the season holds, as I'm writing this, basically in the middle of watching the whole season. Now, the second and biggest strategy, in my opinion, is to classify specific rankings based on a blader's skill, and definitely based on age group. Takara Tomy announced that they would be holding a Masters tournament in the winter of 2023 with luxurious prizes, as they describe it in their previous propaganda. And I think that would be key, or at least it would have been, had that come true. Because from what I see, their top prizes are golden parts and digital coins for their app, which seems like a good prize for a kid. Now, I may be wrong, and I've been wrong many times before, but I found no footage nor promo material leading up to winter and them giving people anything other than Bey parts and certificates as prizes. Meaning that once again, they may not be taking the right steps towards acknowledging bladers and encouraging a more dedicated fan base. Where Beyblade X will find its success, I think, is when bladers themselves are considered and paid like athletes. In the latest tournaments, specifically in Spain, bladers over 15 can win a Steam Deck, a keyboard, or Beyblade set, which, don't get me wrong, but shouldn't a top blader already have one of these? But apparently, they really love it if you're a blader under 15 with a PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch as the first and second prizes. But you see, when other companies start to invest with competitors for sponsorships, brand deals, and more importantly, when there are national leagues that can pay out their members for participating, training others, and competing in events. In the Beyblade show, we assume that at least the top tier bladers are paid to Beyblade, as I talk about in this other video. But not only that, there needs to be an incentive for bladers in real life to make blading a feasible career rather than a hobby. If Beyblade X can achieve this, then it has a possibility of being as lucrative as sports and as competitive as basketball to get into certain leagues or teams. And more importantly, it has a possibility of becoming acknowledged as a sport. Just think about it. For years, there have been log tournaments and a dedicated fan base, but this alone hasn't made Beyblade popular enough to be considered a sport in most other people's eyes. And I mean people who don't already Beyblade. If Takara Tomy and its affiliates had taken these competitions and participants seriously around the world and invested in them, we probably would have seen a bigger rise in popularity and participation. While it's not good that people will do anything for money, status, and fame, there's good people who do gaming as a sport, and likewise people on YouTube and other non-traditional mediums who have found a way to make a living while doing something that they love. And I understand, not everyone who plays soccer, baseball, or basketball can earn a livable wage, and at the same time, there are ways in which local sports leagues can earn donations or equipment, travel, and other expenses so that their teams can have a chance to compete and get better in order to one day be in the major league. Now, we can't call an orange an apple. When we look at them both and compare them, we can indeed find ways in which they are the same. They are fruit. Likewise, when and if Beyblade becomes a lucrative option for people, we may see it more similar to a sport. Maybe not at the same physical exertion as a soccer match, but still a fun and engaging target sport. In the end, appealing to Beyblade fans of all ages, just like traditional sports including football, baseball, or basketball, will benefit both the company and its main supporters, us. It's proven that it takes more than millions of followers, organized official tournaments, or new gimmicks to make any activity a legitimate sport. Just ask a chess master. Now, as we've seen, it can take a slap in the face to realize a sport can be so simple. Hopefully, we Beyblade fans can witness the rise of a new sport. If you want to see success while blading, it has to start with our attitude. We can help shape the Beyblade community by starting local teams and partner with local fundraisers and other worldwide organizations such as the WBO to provide tangible monetary prizes. I think that the competitive nature, structured rules, and corporate organized events will make Beyblade a sport in its own right, just like I talk about in these older videos. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you like my content. And I'll see you in the next one. But for now, let's let it rip.
Watch close. He's got something else in store.